If you're in a leadership position, how do you get your guys to respect you? How do you get guys to have direction, punctuality, and loyalty? Just a couple things I want to talk about today as we're going through employee retention this week. And I know this is a big thing a lot of guys deal with, is constant turnover and having to hire new guys and new employees. And I don't know what it is in your company, but it takes a lot of investment to hire a new guy and train him before he's actually profitable. So it's no different in your company than it is my company. It takes a lot of time to train new guys, and you don't want to have to train them. You want guys long term. So let's talk about a couple different tips we can look over for how do you get guys to stay long term. First of all, you got to be a good leader. You can't really be friends with your employees. I know a lot of times you end up hiring guys because you know them, they're a friend of a friend, they might be a relative, they might be in your community and you see them a lot, and for whatever reason they ask you for a job or you need somebody, so you put the word out and you get people that you know and you're kind of chummy with them. That kind of makes for a bad recipe in the future when you need to reprimand them, you need to let them go, you need to lay them off, you need to criticize their work or for whatever reason. But you got to make sure that even if you do know them, that you make it clear at the beginning that it's a business relationship. So try not to make friends with your employees. Try to put the line in the sand. But I kind of have a rule in my company when I'm hiring guys that I don't really hire friends, family, and in my case, church members. So not that I haven't once in a while, but hiring a friend or family member does put you in a place of vulnerability when it comes to having some issues in the employment. So tip number one, don't hire friends if you don't have to. Tip number two, read some leadership books. Every time I reference reading, guys they shudder. They don't like to read. They don't want to read. They can't find time to read. But let me give you a couple points on how I've learned how to read. I get up a little bit earlier in the morning so that I can listen to some podcasts or some short books or maybe a chapter in an audio book. Or I take some time after supper at night and I read a book. But anyways, you need to carve out time in your schedule and make it a priority to read a book. One book that I want to hear here, this isn't really on leadership, but this is a book that really helped in our company to really get to the source of problems that are in the company. When it comes down to, you have a problem and you start playing the blame game. Job site didn't get cleaned up perfectly, so you find out who's responsible for it. Instead of finding out who's responsible for it, you actually want to go after the problem and come up with a solution. You don't really want to hang one person out to dry. That's not really what it's all about, right? We're all on the same team. We're all trying to come together to create a solution. So this book is called QBQ. It's The Question Behind the Question. It's by John Miller, and actually it's a pretty short book. And what I did was I just, when we have our company meetings once a week or every other week, I'd read a chapter to the guys and we'd discuss it, and it really helped. It actually become kind of a mantra and a joke in the company when we'd have a problem and the guys would say, hey, QBQ, and the question behind the question. So that's a good book to read, and as you're developing leadership skills, reading is going to become a key part of that. I don't think you're really ever going to be all you can be as a leader if you don't get a habit of reading on some level. And the last one is get a backbone. If you're a manager of any sort, whether it's a foreman all up to supervisor and owner, you'd have to have a backbone. And I don't want you to misconstrue this with an attitude. And I know a lot of guys that are in management, they have an attitude. They think they can, be a tough guy and, use a lot of profanity and jump down people's throat at any given minute when they have a problem. That's not a leader. A leader takes, it's kind of cliche, but the leader, when a problem happens, they take the blame. And when good things happen, they give the credit away to the other people. So that just kind of, in a nutshell, defines a good leader. But you learn to get a backbone and learn that other people are going to talk bad behind your back. You have employees or people that are in your command that they might joke around about how you ride around in the truck all day. You don't really do anything but push a pen or sit behind a desk. And them things can bother you, especially in the construction trades. There are a lot of guys, they work with their hands a lot. They let that get to them, and don't let that get to you. Everybody has value in the company depending on where they're at, and if that means pushing a pen or riding around the truck making sure jobs are getting done, then that's what it is. And you have to let the comments and the the drama that might be happening, and you know what might be happening behind your back, just let it roll off your back. Don't let it worry you. And one thing I always tell people in our company is it's easy to spot the leaders. They're the ones with the arrows in their backs. So as you're developing in yourself to become a leader, make sure you're intentional about it, that you don't just try to let it happen. That you have to really work at it. Maybe talk to some people that you know that are farther ahead to mentor you, keep you accountable, and maybe critique you once in a while in your leadership skills. I even invite my guys that are underneath me to critique my leadership skills. How am I doing as a leader? Am I following through? Am I getting the things to you that I need to get to you? And I kind of leave it open for them to criticize me. And it's not all warranted all the time, but once in a while I'll find a couple things that I'm doing wrong that I could do better in my leadership skills. So leaders are not born, they're developed. If you got a lot of value from this video, I ask you to like and share it. That really helps us grow this page and this forum, and people contributing to it, from the experts all the way down to the new guys breaking into the commercial roof market. And hope to see you in the next video.